I rise in support of this amendment, which would increase/decrease funding to express that the Office of Personnel Management should renew the security clearance of David Grusch. See, Mr. Grusch formerly served as the Reconnaissance Office representative to the UAP Task Force from 2019 to 2021. He recently testified before Congress claiming that partial fragments and even intact vehicles have been found for decades by the federal government, our allies, and defense contractors. According to Mr. Grusch, objects and vehicles retrieved are of, quote, exotic origin based on the vehicle's morphologies and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. Mr. Grusch also told us that the U.S. is in possession of non-human spacecraft and dead pilots. And finally, Mr. Grusch told us that he has spoken with the intelligence officials whom the U.S. military had briefed on, quote, football field-sized aircrafts, that the U.S. government transferred some crashed UAPs to a defense contractor, and that the intelligence officials were also briefed on malevolent activity from extraterrestrial beings. Now, of course, all of this is very interesting to me and a number of my colleagues on the Oversight Committee. And my first question, when I had an opportunity for Mr. Grusch, was to say that those are pretty incredible claims. But I'm from the show me state. You're going to have to show me. And I requested specifics, information, which could not be conveyed in that hearing, not in a secure setting. And unfortunately, he's unable to provide us with any supporting evidence to back up his claims because his security clearance has lapsed. Now, my understanding is that Mr. Grusch did go through the proper channels here by turning over classified information to the IC Inspector General. And he ultimately filed a complaint to the IC Inspector General alleging that the information that he presented to the IC has been illegally withheld from Congress. So I'd like to know more about these claims, and so would a number of my colleagues on both sides of the aisles. Now I'm certainly pleased that the Oversight Committee is working hard to bring the relevant Inspector General so we can cut through all of the roadblocks that have been presented since Mr. Grusch stepped forward. But we need to cover all possible angles here, and if we can get Mr. Grusch in a SCIF with an active security clearance, that would go a long way. This amendment simply expresses the support for the Office of Personnel Management to renew the security clearance of David Grusch so that he can show us his work. Now, I'm a freshman member. I've seen a lot of these increasing, decreasing amendments, and while on its face they appear to not do anything, but it's my understanding that the agencies generally pay attention to the legislative history and intent, which is why I'm offering this amendment. And I reserve my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman seek time in opposition. Gentleman does not seek time in opposition. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield.
Gentleman yields. Questions on the amendment offered by the gentleman from Missouri. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.